and welcome to the End in Mind podcast. I'm your host, Caitlin, the owner of Meraki Media Management. The End in Mind is a place where we come to share stories, tips, and strategies of many entrepreneurs, creatives, business owners, and just some people that aren't willing to live the traditional lifestyle. We talk about how to live outside of the box today and how to incorporate what really is important in your life to keep that end goal always in mind. Again, if you would like to reach out to me in any type of way, you can find me on Instagram at Meraki_media_management, and I hope to hear from you all soon. Thanks so much and enjoy our show. What is up, party people? Welcome back to the End of Mind podcast. We are back for 2 weeks with our solo episodes. I'm really stoked actually for these upcoming episodes because I have a lot of juicy things to share with you guys. So lots has been happening in my personal life and in my business life. And I feel like I owe you all a little bit of an update on what has been going on. So this week I've been talking about the eclipse and what the eclipse means and, you know, what's really happened to me, right? Because as you guys know, I am a social media manager. So my whole Meraki Media Management business was built out of, having a really successful campaign for a local nonprofit in my area. If you guys don't know and you're new to the show, I actually grew their following from 18,000 followers to 500,000 followers in under a month. So I learned so much about social media at that first job. And I was able to take that skill and really capitalize off of it and build a very successful, abundant business. What happened to me while I was developing that business was that I had all of these conditioned beliefs, like most people, right? And I was really operating out of a scarcity mindset. So what I learned when I was, developing this business from this scarcity mindset was that basically I was coming in, accepting any and all clients, right? Anybody would come to me with a marketing issue, and I basically would come up with a service or offer advice and develop a product to solve their problem, right? What happens when you're constantly operating from this place of scarcity was that my nervous system was extremely elevated. So again, if you're new to the show, I had a blood pressure issue for a while when I first started my business, something I still struggle with at times, but now I've gone all in on this holistic journey. So when I started this podcast, I was at the beginning of my holistic journey. I was really stuck in what I had developed through my business. I was gung-ho, like totally set on the fact that this was going to be my $1 million business. And I had put so much pressure on myself to be a successful woman entrepreneur. I took, honestly, all of the fun out of starting a business. And it has become so stressful. At one time, I had over 10 Instagram accounts I was managing. Majority myself, I do have a team that works with me, but I was managing all of the client communication, all of the missteps, all of the uh-ohs, right? The oopses that come along the way. I was handling all of the finances, everything. Everything was falling on my shoulders. And I'm sharing this because if you guys listen to this podcast, you are probably in the same position. And this is the exact reason why I launched my new Eclipse package, because I now know that when you are manifesting and creating out of scarcity, it is very likely that you will build something through manifestation that might not actually be what you truly want out of your life. So because I had taken on this persona of a really successful entrepreneur, I was ignoring my intuition. I was shutting down this side of myself. And this has been a journey for me. Like I said, when I launched this podcast, we have a lot of episodes. This podcast is over a year old. I've put out an episode every single week. When I go all in on something, this is my personality, perfectionism, which I know you guys come from this same background. Like, if I decide to do something, I'm doing it at the very best. I'm doing it better than anyone else. And if I'm not doing it better than anyone else, I was internally critiquing myself and overanalyzing how I could make something better instead of allowing things to just come and happen to me at the right time. So as I had gained this awareness that I was developing a business I quite literally felt imprisoned by, it was a really hard pill for me to swallow. Like, it was so much awareness, it was so much change that was staring me right in the face. And again, as being like a total non-procrastinator and a super high level perfectionist, like highly stressed, high level perfectionist, I also, when I gain awareness, I feel like I need to change or adjust to that problem at hand, right? Like right in that moment, instead of just sitting back and letting things happen. So when I realized that I was in this predicament with my social media management side of my business, and I want to be very clear, I still have that part of my business, but now that part of my business is so closely held to my heart. I only accept particular clients that I know will work well for me, my team, and my business, right? So we only take on very, very specific clients to our management side of the business. And the reason why is because people want and expect social media to solve all of their problems in business, right? And a lot of the times these were the clients that I was attracting because I was also operating from this scarcity mindset. So it all makes sense, right? When I gained this awareness, it was like this veil was lifted and it was something that I had to address. But instead of scrambling and rushing to address it, I let things just play out, right? I let things just happen for once in my life. I wasn't overly controlling. Yes, I had some breakdowns where you had to peel me off the bathroom floor. Like, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys. You guys come here for the honest truth. But I just let things happen. And what naturally started to occur was that some of the clients that were also ready to move on in my management side of the business, they were fulfilled by other things, or they decided to take a new direction. And my newfound awareness allowed me to honestly be overjoyed for them and for myself that this was all happening at divine timing. Like, for the first time in my life, probably since I was about 6 years old, I finally felt like I was being guided and cradled into the next level of my life without really doing anything. Because this is just a gift that I've had. And I know that that might sound cocky, but trust me, it's not cocky. I'm just operating from a place where I know what I have to offer to the world needs to be said and needs to be given to my current mentorship clients and the new clients that I will continue to gain through sharing this journey. Because I see so many entrepreneurs do this exact same thing to themselves. They overconsume, they get so many coaches, they go down this rabbit hole of developing something that they think that they want. But what happens is when we do that, like, the best analogy for this is Devil Wears Prada. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie, literally the best. Anne Hathaway, Meryl Streep, the bomb. And Andy, that's the main character, she's a writer. She ends up going into the fashion industry to help her writing career. And she ends up getting this job working for Miranda Priestly. basically this job is like a nightmare job for her. She learned so much, but I think this is a really key part of that movie. She did it to try and get further ahead in her writing business company, endeavors, and ended up really forgetting that part of herself. And it's something that her boyfriend continues to bring up to her in the movie. And she ends up, feeling like she has to walk away from him. Like, I was in this exact same place, you guys. It's wild. And then once I talked with my family, dropped the defense mechanisms, dropped the stories that I was telling myself, and really got clear on who I am and how I want to show up for my clients, everything else fell perfectly into place, you guys. Like, I got 5 mentorship clients in a matter of months. I got more and more clear on actually what I want my life to look like. Even though I had thought that I knew what I wanted it to look like when I was in that previous job, meaning like in that only part of my business that was management. It was so consuming. It was so exhausting. It was so overwhelming. And now I feel good. Like, I get on the phone with these clients. I feel amazing. They feel amazing. The energetic exchange is at such a high level. We're asking questions to one another that gets us thinking, that starts putting pieces together for our marketing, that takes all of our businesses to the next level. Like, that's what's so wonderful when you start to work with clients in a capacity that feels really aligned for you, that feeds into your gifts. It just moves everything up so much faster, so much quicker, and so much more fluid. So now with this experience that I've gained, I know that I'm able to help my clients redirect, pivot their business, expand their lifestyle to actually work for what they want versus what they've been told that they wanted, right? Like, when we work with all of these coaches, when we listen to all of these podcasts, and I know this is ironic because this is a podcast, but as you guys know, this is a different type of podcast. I don't give you guys, I hope I don't push my beliefs on you, right? Like, this is a place for you to come to contemplate schools of thought that we've been thrown on us for so many years, that have been projected onto us. It's now in the end in mind that we can come back and take all the knowledge we've been given, right? We can take all of these stories, all of the coaching that we've done, all the shoulds that we've been told, and actually come back and make a really educated decision, right? Based off of what we learned, but also based off of listening to ourselves. Like, when I coach my clients, I don't tell them what to do. I don't tell them they should do this versus that. Sometimes they'll come and they'll ask me my opinion, which I'm more than willing to give. Most of the time I give them several options based on that opinion. We talk through the scenarios at hand of what can play out if we go down this rabbit hole or if we choose this rabbit hole, right? All of these different directions that we can go in business. We open up our minds to opportunity together so that the clarity is there, so that you're not constantly being clouded with my beliefs. You're not constantly feeling like you should be doing something some type of way. I'm literally doing like air quotes as I'm saying this to you guys. And this is so important because it gives you the space. Like, instead of putting you in a one-size-fits-all course or telling you that this is my exact protocol and how do you develop a very sustainable, beautiful business, what if we just let things flow to us? Like, what would that feel like? What would that actually start to look like for us as business owners? And wouldn't that allow us to operate in an energy that would be so like polarized, right? By our clients would feel polarized to that energy. So it's just playing around with these different ideas and again, opening up our minds to the opportunity. And I remember when I was in high school, I had a history teacher. And, obviously in history, you're talking about politics and all these other things. And one thing that this particular teacher said to me when we were in his class, he said, I will never tell you which party I vote for or which side I am on, because that's not my job. My job is to actually educate you on all of the different places, right? This is what he was saying to us in my history class, all the different things going on. And then you can make your own educated decision off of what is best for you individually. And that is the approach that I want to take with this coaching. That is the approach that I've taken with all of my mentorship clients so far. Because I found when I worked with coaches that told me exactly what to do, it wasn't great, right? It wasn't me operating at this level, at this energetic level of full-blown confidence that I know what I'm doing, right? And so many entrepreneurs, especially us highly sensitive, intuitive entrepreneurs, we have the gifts that we need to be successful in our lives. In our business and our lives and all of these things, we know exactly what we need to be doing. But because there's so much noise, so much chaos, and we don't have just a coach to like run these ideas by and spitball with and talk through with and have them give us, right, feedback on a potential outcome, if we choose X, if we choose Y, if we choose Z, what could actually play out after the fact, right? Then we end up manifesting potentially, like I had, a business or a scenario that just wasn't working anymore. It just wouldn't work, right? It wasn't truthfully what I desired. And I had imprisoned myself in it. So this is why I believe so much in this type of coaching and this type of mentoring, because my clients will tell me like, that doesn't feel aligned. And then we'll go back and we'll say, okay, cool. What does feel aligned? What does feel good? What if we tried this, or what if we tried this, right? I'll give you guys options. Like, it doesn't have to be this one size fits all. It doesn't have to be, this is the only way. And if you talk to really, really successful billionaires, entrepreneurs, I was talking with my coach about this morning, they'll tell you like, we have no clue how to really build a business, right? It's all a little bit of luck. And it's definitely a lot of intuition and trusting yourself. So that's what I help my clients do in the business marketing side of things, because you know intuitively what your clients need to hear. You know, hands down. And that's what this next episode is going to be about as well, which will also be a solo episode. But I wanted to start off with this idea of the eclipse. So, which you guys will hear later this week. I have this coming out on Friday, this post. But I wanted to share it here because it's really unique, you know, like to think about what the eclipse actually means in, you know, indigenous tribes and people that have studied the planet for, you know, centuries. And one of the things that I found in the Smithsonian magazine said that their ancient ancestors had said that I was told that there is a time of transformation in the eclipse and not to fear the eclipse. Those in our tribe who will feel fear have done something wrong. So like this is really interesting when we think about the eclipse, right? And it's so interesting this year, the eclipse happened in May when I really feel like this awareness was happening for me and like just wild. We have an eclipse happen every 18 months. It's a time for transformation. And when I read this line of like, when somebody in our tribe did something wrong, to me that seems like if they're on the wrong path, right? If they're making out of alignment decisions, that's when the fear can come up, right? That's when that scarcity can arise for us. And the eclipse then helps realign it, right? It brings that moment of release. It shows us, it's the awareness moment, right? It's that time to face the facts and decide to realign in the direction that we actually want to be going in versus the direction that we've been told that we should be going in our whole lives. So I hope that this episode gives you some confidence and also, you know, just opens up our minds a little bit together to the opportunities that this type of coaching has for you. Because again, we can continue to invest in the same coaches. We can continue to like mine for this secret framework. But in reality, our answers are all within. They are all within each and every one of us, because each and every one of us ways and paths are different, right? So not one person knows better than the other. Instead, it's just guiding you back to yourself and really figuring out what's gonna feel good. What do you actually want? So I hope you guys think about that a little bit today. Give me some feedback if you like this episode. Take a screenshot, tag me on social, tell me what you think about this eclipse analogy. And of course, reach out to me if you have any questions about the package. Literally no pressure at all. I would just more so love to hear what you guys think about this eclipse, analogy, like I said. So I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you next week for another solo episode. Thank you so much for listening to The End in Mind. I would like to remind you all, if you haven't yet reached out to me on Instagram, we are at Meraki_media_management. It will be in our show notes as well. If you would like to reach out to me, we always offer free coaching through Instagram based around our Instagram training and our business Instagram practices. If you need any type of support, please do not hesitate to reach out to me there. And we also offer several different types of consulting and training packages if you're looking for a little bit more in-depth tips. So thank you all for listening in, and of course, I want you all to keep the end in mind as you continue with your day and or work week. Have a great week, and I will see you all next time.